today.
Man,
I guess
how
it's
do
at
those
the
guys?
Guinness factory.
Is that like a stamp? There's no way.
Oh, look! Wow!
Derek, what's the guarantee? Derek?
Mike, time to make history.
Players in Circa Million make 5 picks against the spread each week with quarterly and full season payouts.
Circus Survivor entries choose one team each week with no point spread. The last one standing wins it all.
We have $21 million on the line. Are you in? Visit circusports.com for details.
This fall, the Sandman, Adam Sandler, You're My Best Friend Tour.
I feel like we're very good friends now.
Casey Center, Saturday, October 4th. Get tickets now at HiVTix.com.
Murph and Andy, proudly presented by Ramsey Subaru, live and on demand across Iowa everywhere from the Channel Seed Studios. This is Murph and Andy. Murph and Andy, connected by cellular advantage.
The Iowa State football team and band are on their way to Dublin. Iowa Everywhere team's already there. How long's Chris Williams been in Ireland? Has he been there a week already? I think so.
I think that's right, yeah.
I think he's been there a week. And Jake Brenda's there. WHO 13's David Warrington is there. Andy David, he contacted me. We've been back and forth quite a bit today. He walked around for like 2 hours in Dublin trying to find Cyclone fans, and he found 2. And the only 2 he found wouldn't talk to him. So he's like, I'm not sure what to do. But like most of the fans aren't there yet. And Dublin's a big city. If you're not at a meeting spot or a pep rally or, an organized pub crawl or something, you could just wander the streets and not find somebody from Iowa State on Wednesday.
I feel for him. We've all been in that position before, not in Ireland, but in other cities where
right.
You're covering a bowl game or an NCAA tournament, and you head out ahead of the fans, and the TV station is expecting coverage from you.
Right.
And you get there and you're like, coverage of what? There's nobody there yet, so you have to get there and basically just invent something, right? Just come up with something. And then the other thing that I really feel bad for him is he's traveling alone and he's carrying a ton of television equipment.
He's got a lot of equipment.
Not literally a ton, but probably 100 pounds of gear. And he's got these great big cases that he's got to cart around the airport.
One of his cases weighed 82 pounds. What is the limit? 50?
Yeah, without paying extra.
Without paying extra. One was 82, and our chief photojournalist, Lee Rouse, helped him pack. And it's going to be a little bit like when Jenny helps me pack for a trip, and then at the end of the trip, I'm like, how did she get all this in this
You can't
case?
get it all back in there again.
I didn't buy anything. I didn't add anything. If anything, I've used some toiletries. This should all fit easier. I can't make this puzzle fit. That happens.
So he's got all that equipment, and then he lands in an airport that he's never been to before. And foreign airports can be really confusing places.
It can be intimidating. I think that's one of the reasons, Chris, they only use carry-on, so you don't have to even deal with that luggage situation.
Yeah, I got more on that in a minute here when I get to my high-low. But for now, let's do it. Let's roll.
Guest House Tavern and Oyster in West Des Moines sets the table for today's sports and more. Farmogeddon. Andy, can you say that with an Irish accent?
I can't really do an Irish accent. I can't.
I can't either.
I
should be able to. But I really
you
can't.
should be. It should be in your blood.
Apparently it's not. I don't know. Here too long. Found Money and London Calling. That's our segment with Mr. Movie.
Good play on words there. Great album.
Yeah. London Calling and Guest House Tavern. It's Walleye Wednesday today, but also want to let you know about a contest coming up. It's starting Monday to share Guest House Tavern with your friends. We'll have details Friday.
Yeah, check them out on social media. Start following that. And it's just pictures of delicious food all the time is basically all it is.
They have some fun on social media.
Who doesn't love those?
High or low, since the last show.
Presented by Wealth Charter Retirement Planning and Tax.
Yeah, so many questions out there right now about what exactly to do with your money. Should you keep it liquid? Should you trust the market right now? What should you do? Tim Hawkins and company have all those answers for you at Wealth Charter Retirement Planning and Tax. I'm going to start out here. I'm going low. Lewis had a play date today, and we were very excited about it because he is wild right now. He just has so much energy. He's won. And our friends invited him over to play all day, and they got a great big backyard and 3 dogs, and he was just going to go over there and have the best time. And he went over, and like an hour and a half later, I got a call like, "Come pick up Lewis. He's too much." He got kicked out of a play date. He was too wild.
Come get him. He's too much.
He was
come get him.
Tipping over all the bowls and stealing laundry and Lewis is just such a handful right now. So Lewis, way to go, buddy. You got kicked out of the doggy play date.
Have you had a kid kicked out of a kid play date?
No.
Because I have.
No, that's a low point as a parent, right? Because it reflects on you.
It does.
They're just like, yeah, I'm sorry, you need to come get your child. He's horribly behaved. And you know that they're like, what do they do? What parenting do they do with this kid at home? What do they, this is how this kid is, it's not the kid's fault. It's always the parent's fault.
Does this kid have older brothers?
Yeah, exactly. So let's go from that to back to Dublin here. I just want to point this out. Not sure if this is a high or low, but at this point it's a low. These are our good neighborhood friends, Steve and Sally Renfuss, and they are Cyclone fans, so excited to go on this trip. Well, they went, and you see they're wearing these black shirts.
Which is okay there because it's cooler.
Yeah. Well, they bought these at the Irish equivalent of Walmart because the airline lost their luggage. And so like for 3 days straight, they're wearing the same clothes in all the pictures that they sent. And
it looks like they went for one day.
Yeah, no, this is the next day or 2 days later or something. I mean, they're doing the exact same thing. So it really could be just one long photo shoot one day. They're just drinking.
Yeah,
in
they look
Ireland,
happy.
Which I think that's what you do when you go to Ireland. At least that's what I'm told. But they did finally get their luggage. But this is why another reason people like the carry-ons. You just worry. I mean, can you imagine like not having your clothes in another country? You don't have your bag. And I don't know what else they probably had all their bathroom stuff in the other bag because that's usually the reason we do a carry-on, right? It's because you want to deal with the clear bag or the limits on the size of the shampoo you can bring or whatever. But they got burned. They did finally get their bag, but for several days they were wearing the same. They were probably washing stuff in the sink.
Have them find David Warrington. He probably couldn't identify them because they're walking around in those black Walmart shirts.
Yeah, they'd talk to him. Yeah, I honestly, he can call me later and I'll try and put him in touch. They would be good people to talk to.
What time is in Ireland? I see some people are listening, watching live in Ireland right now. So
6 hours ahead, right?
6 hours ahead. Yeah, so it's a little after 7 p.m. there.
7-11.
Yeah, not too bad out there. So appreciate everybody tuning in from Ireland. David, for his carry-on onto the airplane when he left yesterday, his carry-on items were his laptop, his camera, and his microphone because
that sucks.
Of what happened to your friends. You know, you lose the luggage, you still want to be able to work at least for a little while. So he'll be able to do that. I'm going high. I finished the Netflix SEC football any given Saturday, and I found this much more engaging than I expected, partly because each episode, there's 7 episodes, each one tells one story, like bragging rights or just win or shock the world. There's a theme to each episode. And if you're somebody who just doesn't want to hear the SEC constantly remind you that it's the best conference in football, you know, this show's probably not for you, but it is a reminder of what those atmospheres are like. You know, night game at LSU or the crazy Texas A&M what are they called? The cheerleaders, whatever it's all men at Texas A&M. They have these bizarre signals and signs.
12th man, right?
Their own language. It's kind of crazy, but it's also cool. So it's good. And also, this allows me, by finishing it up, to jump right into the 8-part America's team, the Gambler and his Cowboys. Andy, this is about the 90s Cowboys. And that was first of all, a great team, a dynasty, but also, man, there are some characters on that team, and character as an owner and character as a coach. So this should be good.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. I remember those teams well. Boy, I didn't like them at all. That was a hateable crew.
Yes.
Really Dion kind of came late. He was late to that action, but I mean that was a team that was just expertly built through the draft and trades by Jimmy Johnson. They were horrible. I mean, Troy Aikman was the number 1 overall pick in 88 or 9.
Yeah, his first year was miserable.
Yeah, they were awful, but Jimmy Johnson, the Herschel Walker trade to the Vikings really kind of helped set the foundation, and they just wheeled and dealed and built an incredible set of lines, both sides of the ball, and then a whole bunch of great skill players. And they were off and running, man. The 49ers Cowboys rivalry is the best rivalry that I was ever party to in all my years of watching the NFL. That was, and it was, in the NFC, so it wasn't even a Super Bowl rivalry. It was just in one side of the NFL, but those teams were so powerful and so good and hated each other so much that was, the nation was consumed by that rivalry.
And you got Summerall and Madden just to make it all better. Let's get the buzz.
The Buzz. Brought to you by Logier Heating and Cooling.
All right, Iowa State, Kansas State, 3 days away now. Biggest game, I think, arguably, in the 108-year history of the series, just because the amount of attention it's getting. If you watch you listen to a national show right now or watch a sports television show, this game is going to be mentioned as not only the start of college football season, but like a big, important game because you have 2 top 25 teams, 2 Big 12 powers going into the season. And this is the rare lengthy series, started, I think, in 1917. Andy, this is the rare series where Iowa State has more wins, because with Iowa State's football history, most series are upside down for the Cyclones. For those young fans out there, it wasn't always the way it's been under Matt Campbell.
Yeah, I mean, it was what Bill Snyder kind of famously led that school, that whole organization out of the dark and and into the light. And they were, I'm sure, went a long time beating up on Iowa State, but recently, I mean, Iowa State has done pretty well in this game. Were some really memorable games with K-State, and these two they're just really good bookends, right? I mean, 2 big-time ag schools by a couple of very overlooked states that, still have very passionate fans. They are schools that play second fiddle in their respective states to the more name brand, state university. Kansas State their football program is definitely above the University of Kansas, but still, I mean, when it comes to just sort of the overall brand, I think KU is still top dog there. But, Manhattan and Ames, probably 2 destinations that don't get a whole lot of respect from people who don't know anything about them.
Campuses look similar.
Yeah, but both nice places and still good schools for what they specialize in. And, they kind of want to. They've always got, both of these schools have always got a chip on their shoulder, and when they meet, they probably feel like they ought to be better than the other one, right?
Right. And I was reading Scott Docterman's column, and it was interesting. They first approached Iowa State to play in this game, and because Iowa State only has, I believe, 6 home games, and I got to get this off the screen. I'm sorry. What is this? We're having trouble streaming at Facebook again.
Oh, well, you're still no. That's me.
Andy's,
That's
yeah.
no, it's me. All right.
I'll
Okay.
change it.
Sorry, I just popped right over your face as I'm looking at you on the screen here. In Docterman's column, he said Iowa State was approached, but because of 6 home games and 4 conference home games, there was just no way Iowa State could give up a home game. So Pollard said, "We'll be the visiting team if you can find somebody willing to give up a home game." And then they approached Kansas State, and Kansas State at first said, their consensus was there's no way Chris Kleiman is giving up a home game. He's just not going to do it. But then Kleiman talked to people who, including Nebraska, who had come over here and played in this Aer Lingus Football Classic, and he got some feedback that it was the best experience his players had ever had, that they said it was better than a bowl game, that they loved it, that it was great. So then Kleiman said, we're in. So Kansas State gave up the home game, and now for the first time you have 2 top 25 teams. So that came together pretty nicely for Iowa State. Matt Campbell is 5-2 against Kansas State, so he's done really well in this series.
Yeah, no doubt. That's really magnanimous of Kleiman to do that. I mean, that's great. I mean, somebody owes him now, right? I mean, for doing this. I mean, he essentially is giving this experience to not just his players, but the opponents and the fans as well. I mean, that's cool of him to do that.
It is.
Not
everybody likes it.
No, but I mean, he ought to. I don't know if you want to. I mean, Kansas State's probably not going to get invited again, right? I mean, they'll move on to a couple of new teams, but I mean, somebody owes him a solid in the future for this.
I would think so. Here's Matt Campbell, Rocco Becht, and Gabe Burkle talking to David Warrington on traveling to Ireland for the first game.
I think we have a really good plan. I'm really proud of what the work that so many people did behind the scenes to prepare for it. But, the execution of it is really where you'll find success.
I think Coach Campbell's done a great job of communicating with us, finding out resources, whether that's from the NFL teams, college teams that have gone there in the past, how they did it, how they went out there, how they did their sleep schedule, how they did their, their food, their nutrition.
Trying to mock Ireland, what that game day will be like. Obviously preparing the right way, getting plenty of sleep leading up to the game, nutritionally eating the right foods and things like that. It's a new experience, but we've talked about it a lot as a team, how we're going to handle it. We know exactly what the plan's going to be.
Yeah, they've really looked into this to try to minimize what happens when you travel 4,000 miles for a football game. On their way now, so they technically arrive Thursday. Well, not technically. It will be Thursday by the time they get there in Ireland. That is, you kind of lose that day, and then they have a couple of days to get on the right sleep schedule. But it is different. You can't just send the haulers full of equipment. You got to fill a cargo plane with all that gear, and the players are still responsible, at least in some ways. There's suitcases and pads and that kind of thing. It's different going overseas.
Yeah, and I mean, they don't have a whole lot of time to get acclimated to the time difference.
I thought they'd be there sooner.
I did too, and having just done this, you and I both having just done this, I mean, it's serious. I mean, your body, that is a whole different level of tired that it's hard to explain to somebody because you really can't replicate it here. You can't, unless you sleep really well on the plane. And trust me, man, I drug myself. I tried.
It's tough to do.
Yeah, I can't sleep on the plane. So I stayed up all night long, and then you get there and it's morning.
And you have to power through, or you'll never turn it around.
You have to stay up, but like by 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you are a zombie. You're a zombie. And you don't, maybe you go to bed and then you wake up in the middle of the night and then you kind of are still stuck with the same problem the next day. I mean, they're going to need to sleep on the. I'm sure that they have got doctors or somebody on staff,
sleep scientists.
Yeah, that is like they probably have a sleep scientist with them. They probably do, where they have figured out a plan and they're going to attack it in a real methodical way. But it's something you got to take seriously because I can't even imagine. I mean, your body is so tired. I can't imagine trying to play football or do anything physical, even at like half that degree of exhaustion.
Beautiful stadium, Aviva Stadium, and
really cool.
Ed said it'll feel like it's in the low 60s. I think the actual temperature is going to be 68 or 69 on game day. 47,000 is the capacity for American football in this stadium. Between K-State and Iowa State, they've probably sold 30,000 or so tickets, hoping to get some local people in there too. And these two teams finished the Big 12 regular season last year playing each other, and now they start by playing each other. Look back to that day, November 30th. I was at this game. The actual temperature that night was 17 degrees or so. It felt much colder. It was really, really cold. And Avery Johnson, Kansas State's quarterback, he showed you all that talent that has some people picking him as the preseason Big 12 Player of the Year. I mean, he can throw, he can run. But Rocco Becht actually outplayed him in this game because he made fewer mistakes. Avery Johnson made some critical mistakes in this game. And Iowa State, we remind you, won this 29-21. And there was a field storming, not because it was shocking that Iowa State won. They were at home and they were the ranked team. K-State was unranked. But, Andy, this was the game that gave them double-digit wins for the first time ever and also clinched a spot in the Big 12 championship game by beating K-State.
Yeah, and field stormings at Jack Trice Stadium have never had a real high bar. The fans are excited. They want to go out there and I mean, just look into the student section in these video clips. That its blood type is Fireball. They were. I mean, look at that.
Oh, look how cold that looks,
so
man.
Cold. Those leather jackets,
my goodness.
Oh, geez, those aren't warm.
This is going to help me today when I go outside and I feel like, man, it's hot again. Just being reminded of the other extreme, I think I'd take the heat over this.
Some of these people are just dressed like a clothes hamper.
Yeah, not a lot of fashion.
No, it doesn't matter. Yeah, you just
think about
stay
that?
Warm. Stay warm. That's all.
Yeah, there you go. K-State quarterback Avery Johnson remembers losing that game.
We don't want to approach our camp different or not go as hard last year as we did this year, but I definitely think we have to have an extra chip on our shoulder. Losing Iowa State 2 years in a row and kicking off with a conference game, this one does mean a little bit more to us.
Yeah, it does mean more. Thank you for saying that. We take every game. No game is more important than the next game. No, this means more. It's a conference game. It's Farmageddon. It's a rivalry. It's in Ireland. Of course, whoever wins this has their season get off to a much better start. And as Matt Van Winkle pointed out, if Iowa State wins, that's Matt Campbell's 100th win. So we got a couple things like that to follow this year. Campbell about to get his 100th win here. If not this week, should be next week. And Kirk Ferentz is going to become the winningest coach in Big Ten history this season. Passing Woody Hayes.
He's been there a long time, but he's also just won a lot of games.
Yeah, it's been consistent throughout the 27 years. Quickie poll is from WCI Pools and Spas. It's in Ames and Urbandale. And some of you who are in the comments over here, you can vote from Ireland. Really nice to see how many people are tuning in from Ireland right now. We appreciate that.
Of these choices, what comes to mind when you think Ireland? Is it green hills and cliffs, Irish pubs and Guinness, heritage and history, or poets and writers?
That's for Andy. Like
Andy's
Joyce
got to
and
log
Yates.
in and vote because there's no
No, man. I mean, that's for anybody that's been to Cooney's and used the urinal.
Yeah, exactly.
You know.
I have that poster of Irish writers in the house because one time my dad was in the Cooney's bathroom. He's like, oh, I really like that poster. Next thing you know, it showed up at my house. So
Oh, that's
I
a
have
great.
it memorized just
yeah.
from staring at it so often.
Oh,
Sure.
Keats and Yeats and Jonathan Swift and
look how the
James
voting's going for
Joyce.
poets and writers.
Yeah, not too well, but I mean, I would pick Irish pubs and Guinness. So I mean, what?
Me too.
That is the tourism industry is not real complicated there, right? I mean, it's get off, you go find a pub, you're done.
And you can find a pub that also brings all of these other elements in. Because like the best pubs I've been to in my times in Ireland are somewhere way off the beaten path, might even have a sand floor. They've been there 800,000 years. You got local musicians playing, but on the way there, you're going to see the heritage and history and hills and cliffs, and you're probably going to hear somebody stand up and read poetry at one point. So yeah, I'm also going Irish pubs and Guinness, although Murphy's is also really popular in Ireland. It's basically just Guinness ripped off.
There's a lot of good Irish beers. I mean, it's not Guinness gets the lion's share of the attention, but there's a long list of good Irish beers, and not just
my mom
beer
loves
too.
Smithwick's.
Yeah, and Harp, isn't that Irish too?
Harp's good, yeah.
Yeah. And then obviously there's Irish whiskey is its own subsect of whiskey. So the Irish
drink.
They're very well rounded in their alcoholism.
Do you know the thing about stereotypes is they're often true.
Very accurate.
Yeah,
they started with
based
something that
in
was really
something.
true. Yeah.
You can interact on YouTube. The email is Murph_Andy at iowaeverywhere.com. On X, it is Murph_Andy, powered by Cellular Advantage, and U.S. Cellular is now owned by T-Mobile, or they've merged, so Cellular Advantage customers have access to T-Mobile's #1 ranked national and international service, and in the state of Iowa, you still get the #1 ranked U.S. cellular service. So you get the best of both worlds with the Cellular Advantage. Some more hot topics for you. Auburn has claimed 7 additional national football titles. So Auburn is now up to 9, added 1910, 1913, 1914, 1958, 1983, 1993, and 2004, joining 1957 and the firmly entrenched 2010 year when Gene Chizik went from Iowa State to national champion at Auburn. And this does, on the surface, seem ridiculous, but then again, when you look at the system in place for college football for so many decades, why not? Alabama taught Auburn how to do this. Alabama claims a bunch of phony titles.
Well, I mean, I don't know how much it matters to the rest of us or how much this even matters to Auburn, but you can't just make up your own set of facts.
They just did.
You can't.
They just did.
Okay,
All
yeah.
evidence to the contrary.
Well,
let me tell you, Andy,
I know
me tell you
people
about-
are trying hard to do that, but unless you're speaking to the brainwashed masses, everybody else is like, I mean, there are other teams that have claims to the titles in those years. It's not like
Absolutely.
they're not vacant.
Right.
It's not there for the taking.
The most ridiculous that I could find of the claims out there, Alabama claims a national championship in 1941. Alabama went 9-2, finished number 20 in the AP poll, and the Crimson Tide were shut out that season by Mississippi State and Vanderbilt. And that is one of Alabama's national championships.
Also a year that I would just have to guess that college-aged boys
We're in short supply.
were in short supply. Yeah, that fall.
Yeah, that's
you got
the name
Pearl
of
Harbor
Spielberg's
in November. Yeah, geez. I don't know.
1941. So here
was it
here's
like
what
then?
I'm proposing. This is kind of radical, but I'm proposing that Iowa State claim a national championship in 1994. I mean, the Cyclones were 0-10-1 under Jim Walden, but so what? Just add it to the letterhead, put it on your social media feeds, and I think for
Isn't
Iowa,
that one of Nebraska's national title years?
it could be.
Even
I
better,
think-
you take one away.
Yeah.
Yeah, Iowa 1999. Sure, the Hawkeyes were 1-10, but just claim a national championship. I mean, Alabama's doing it, Auburn's doing it, UCF did it a few years ago. Why not?
Yeah. Just make up your own numbers, see if somebody doesn't give you the numbers you want, fire them, bring in somebody that will, and just make up your own truth, right? You'll have people be like, well, everybody has their own truth. That's what we're doing here. We just live in our own truth.
Yeah. Hey. We did have somebody tell us this. It's like when a whiskey company or somebody does a survey. It's like an internal survey. Best tasting whiskey as voted by the survey that we commissioned. Yeah. You can make up your own facts here and say you won a national championship. I have heard this before I've never heard it from Iowa State with their football history, but there are some Hawkeye fans who claim a couple of national championships by somebody a long time ago. AD, do you recall what that is?
It was the Iowa pre-flight, right? Because, Mike in the comments here, Iowa pre-flight was a school. I think it ended up turning into the University of Iowa, but they had like a great football team in the late 1800s. Maybe early 1900s.
National championship caliber teams right there. Hey, here's something interesting that doesn't surprise me, but is ridiculous. Oklahoma is now selling tickets to its football press conferences. You can get 2 tickets, for instance, to the press conference after the Michigan game. 2 tickets, $700.
Well, look, there were... I will say there were a number of times where I was at an Iowa press conference, and it was clear that some of the people in there were absolutely not members of the media. They were fans. They were boosters who had been allowed in there.
Money talks.
Probably because nobody wanted to tell them no, but maybe they were just flat out invited in there. So this is not new. This happens. The fact that it's just completely above board though.
Yeah, it's just being monetized publicly now.
I can understand the appeal. It is very interesting. I think that knowing that that's going on, though, probably hurts the chances of it being a real authentic press conference, because you have these coaches and players will be told and certainly know that there are boosters that are in there. It's not just the media.
Most all of it is coach speak at this point, though, and we've lost Mike Leach.
Yeah, that would be the ticket that you wanted to be at.
Yeah,
but
that'd be worth it.
These are interesting. These are coaches and players who are often still real wound up from the game, and they speak passionately or more passionately than they do during a weekly media day. It's not quite the same as catching somebody on the field, but Dan McCarney's press conferences weren't to be missed. Larry Eustachy's press conferences were real interesting.
Johnny Orr's.
Johnny Orr, Bob Knight, those press conferences are still being played on YouTube.
Yeah.
So they're really, really interesting, and I can understand the appeal.
Middle Tennessee just came up with $668,000 additional dollars to pay players, and it's such a simple idea. I would think more people will follow it. You know what they're doing? They're getting rid of alternate uniforms. They're just going to go to a home and away jersey and the same helmet, and that's saving Middle Tennessee $668,000. And how do you make the players feel okay about not having all these uniform changes? You give them the money.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. I can remember back in the 90s, would have been about 94, that the NFL brought back the throwback uniforms for the first time. And some teams went all out. Mm-hmm. And some teams really half-assed it. Like just peeled the stickers off their helmets. Remember, like the Lions just had a silver helmet, and it was really boring. And, some of the teams went all out, and like the Bills and stuff. You got these awesome old uniforms. Everybody's like, "Oh my God, that's so awesome! Why didn't you do that?" And then I heard a couple of the teams say, "Well, it costs $1 million to get new helmets, all these new jerseys, new pants," and you're like immediately, "Oh, I guess I can understand that argument." But, can you imagine that happening now? I mean, this has become so much more than just a novelty. I mean, this is part of your marketing, your merchandise sales. It's part of drawing new fans. If you only have one look, you either are doing so well with that one look that you feel like, kind of that's your gig, is that you're not doing throwback like the Steelers or somebody.
Yeah, the Hawkeyes really shouldn't wear alternate uniforms very often. I mean, you should have a real special occasion, and it's very similar to the Steelers uniform, but Iowa has a good, consistent look.
Yeah, and some of that is Kirk Ferentz too. I mean, he clearly doesn't subscribe to that school of thought, and other coaches are way into it. And whatever. I mean, to each his own. But it can't be cheap. I can understand that completely. I mean, I don't know that the fans. It's such a watered down, played out, fad by this point that I don't know that the players really will care all that much. Or recruits.
Yeah, and the NFL level, you wonder at some point when they saw that there was so much demand from fans, did they find a way to have some of that money from throwback sales go toward buying throwback uniforms and throwback helmets? I don't know how that siphon works, but that seems like it would be a natural, especially if you're a team like the Dolphins or the Patriots, where every time you wear your throwback uniforms, it's almost unanimous that the fan base goes, those are better.
Yeah.
Go back to those. Why did you get away from that?
Yeah, that doesn't make sense to me either. But I mean, you notice though that you never hear anything like, okay, this year fans, we were thinking about raising season ticket prices, but we were thinking we don't have to do that if you'll let us get rid of these alternative uniforms.
Right.
That's never put to a vote,
Never.
right?
No.
Never. The fans are you'll get the other thing. Hey, we got these new uniforms. We're having to pay the players. Need you to buck up a little bit more. But you'll never hear an option where, the fans could possibly benefit and save some money.
Here's number 1 draft pick Cam Ward on why early morning workouts and football practices don't faze him.
I'm just a big person on work. I'd say yesterday, I've grown up, watched my dad wake up at 4:30 doing a job he didn't like. So, if I can't wake up early and do what I need to do for a job I do like, I shouldn't be playing football. And that goes for everybody in the locker room. If you can't have the expectation for yourself that you want to be whether a good or a great player and want to put the work in, I just think that's how it should go. I just think good things only come to those who work.
Boom.
Like that a lot. Audio and video
Scoreboard.
courtesy of the Tennessee Titans. And that's a guy we remind you was a no-star recruit out of high school and made himself into the number 1 overall draft pick. The Colts announced they're going to start Danny Dimes, Daniel Jones, Anthony Richardson, the former number 4 overall pick, who has all that incredible talent, but in 2 years has not played the position well, is not happy about this, but you can't be a 50% passer in the NFL. You can have all the talent in the world, but you've got to be able to do the pre-snap reads and identify on the move, and Richardson is just not doing that yet. He was kind of a project because he hadn't played that much college football. I think we're seeing some evidence here with who is the 49? Trey Lance and Anthony Richardson.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you need some reps at the college level. I mean, just a guy with like less than a season or so of football, he's going to have a lot of work at the NFL level. And the word on Richardson is he hasn't put that work in. I don't know if that's accurate, but that's coming out of the Colts.
Yeah, and I don't know exactly what I'm sure there are guys that can do that kind of thing. I don't know why it is exactly that some are able to make the jump easier than others, but this happens. This is the risk and reward of the NFL draft in general, but certainly picking quarterbacks in the first round. I mean, you're tempted to take a guy who's long on potential all the time. I mean, all these teams want that. And then, it doesn't take much to send things the other way where you're like guys had too much work in college. I mean, he's been beaten up too much. He's got too much mileage on him. And we're worried about his longevity. I mean, they like getting skill position players who only have a couple of years of college wear and tear on them. But there's always the risk that that translates into not enough experience to understand the game well enough. But yeah, I mean, the NFL is a meritocracy. You can't play, they ain't sticking with you. They're going to move on. I mean, your shelf life as the shiny new toy is really short. I mean, it is going to last probably one season at best, and maybe not even one training camp.
Right. Trubisky was picked ahead of Mahomes. Peyton Manning won a Super Bowl in Denver when he couldn't even throw the ball 30 yards down the field anymore. His neck and spine and shoulder were so shot. It is a position mostly in the head. It's why Tom Brady, even in his mid-40s, you just knew he could still get it done. Still could get it done. By the way, how much is Football King? More than 5 million people watched the Bears and Bills in a preseason game that was an absolute blowout, and it was the top sporting event of the weekend. I mean, there were a few starters even played in this game. Still had more than 5 million people.
Wouldn't you love to see the NFL just make a secret plan in a back room and be like, all right, let's see just what we can get these assholes to watch. I mean, could we just put the uniforms out there? Let's say we put a bunch of kids in uniforms and just let them run around. Would they still tune in? Or, what if we just ran, logos for an hour? What kind of ratings? Who could we beat? What other programming could we beat out there?
Could we still beat the NBA Finals?
We just put the NFL logo up, for a half an hour. How would it do in its time slot? What can we get these people to buy into?
Confluence, the official beer of Murph and Andy, and Confluence is where Old Tavern keeps selling out across Iowa and beyond, but keep asking for it. It is a light lager and has become a really popular find. Old Tavern at Confluence. Now, let's get some more.
But wait, there's more from Either Or Eatery and Patio.
Yeah, good days over at the patio at Either Or, 6222 Grand Avenue, inside, outside, whatever part of the restaurant, establishment, bar that you pick. You're going to have a great time over there. If you haven't tried it, this is an excellent time to do it. State Fair is done. Kids going back to school. Celebrate with some Either Or.
Nice.
More restaurant, food, drink news here and more today.
Let's hear it.
At long last, Zora Rooftop Bar has a new owner.
Okay, good.
It was open for less than 2 years. Had a million problems.
It did. It's a sweet setup, as you can see if you're watching.
Really sweet setup.
A lot
just
of potential.
Riff-raff crowd that just was unruly from the get-go. An owner who didn't know what he was doing.
$7 light beers at Saturday at noon.
They had more police there than regular paying customers at times.
Menu from I don't know where.
The city shut it down, basically. It was just a problem. And it's too bad because, it's such a nice property at the intersection of Ingersoll and MLK, one of the most conspicuous bars in the metro.
A little bit of parking hesitation there because it's
not
tight.
enough parking, but still, I mean, if it's a good bar, you'll you'll park and walk. The Elwell Company has bought it to lease it out. Going to lease it out as a restaurant or maybe as an office space, but it will not become a bar.
Okay.
Has to be one of the biggest failures in recent history of Iowa hospitality.
Well,
and I think this
so
was like
overpriced.
It was like $5 million this guy paid to build this place. He knocked down the old building, leveled the entire site, built a gigantic retaining wall, and this incredible, like no expense spared, 3-level rooftop bar.
But from the jump, didn't your mind just say, how are you going to make $5 million back? Because it just never added up.
And everybody that I talk to in the industry, and I know a lot of people in the industry, and everybody was talking about this as it was being built and after it opened, and everybody said there is no way that is going to make it. But, I mean, it went down in flames.
Yeah.
In Houston, a pair of influencers known for their food reviews were shooting a review at QV's restaurant when this happened.
Boom. Car just goes right through the window.
That is a car crashing into the window into these people who had no idea it was going to happen.
Yeah, that's not fake.
No, it's not. This was just nuts. Their names are Patrick Blackwood and Nina Santiago. They were not injured somehow.
Which is a miracle. Miracle.
Apparently, some woman, there's a hill kind of out in front here, and the woman thought she had it in park, but she had her car in neutral, got out of the car, and just let it roll down into the front of this building. I don't know if I believe that or not. That looks like, to me, she thought like drive was reverse.
Yeah, it's pretty aggressive.
Yeah, it really smashes in. This happens a lot. This happens here in Des Moines.
Yeah, it's happened at the chicken place in Beaverdale.
That was somebody driving along Beaver Avenue who veered off the road and crashed into the front. I'm talking about like people parked in the front of a restaurant that don't know what gear they're in, and they just go plowing in. I mean, their reflexes aren't fast enough.
These modern cars, because I struggle with this sometimes when I go to the car wash. You know, the button click, you can get confused about park, neutral. You got to make sure you're in what you think you're in, because, you know, it's not just the old obvious.
Yeah, you need to get back to the
shifter on the column.
On the column, yeah.
Yeah, the dials and stuff like that. Yeah, those can be confusing. Speaking of restaurants, more restaurants, a new survey from USA Today says these are currently the 3 biggest turnoffs for customers at a restaurant.
Okay.
Number 1, rude or inattentive staff.
Yep.
That has always been a problem. That's always been a huge turnoff.
Even if you have to wait, you just want to be acknowledged. Like, you know, I know you're there.
Be right
I'll get
with
to
you
as soon as I can. I'm slammed. Fine, that's good. But when you're passed by like 15 times, you've been sitting there for 10 minutes and not a word is said. That's like, this might be a sign to leave.
They take a drink order. You see the bartenders made the drinks. They're just sitting there getting warm and nobody's bringing them to you, that kind of stuff. Number 2, cold food, another classic issue with restaurants. But number 3, something that's a little bit more of the modern age, added or implied extra charges.
Oh.
Tips, credit card processing fees, kitchen fees. You'll see these pop up on the bottom of the receipt without your knowledge.
You really do have to look for it now.
You do. And I think restaurants need to be more forthcoming about this stuff. Like it needs to be on
inflation fees.
Like on the menu or something. They need to say that. Really, because this drives customers crazy. They hate that stuff. Sticking with the trend, the Des Moines Register has a list of the fast food restaurants. They did a survey. The fast food restaurants that we would most like to see come to Iowa. They are in order: In-N-Out Burger out of California, right? Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, really good. Yeah, Waffle House. I think this is out of Georgia. I've been to Waffle House a bunch of times. I think they may have those in Missouri too. Murph, you've certainly been to these.
Yeah, been to many.
Whataburger. That's a Texas burger joint. I don't think I've been to Whataburger before.
Really good.
It's kind of made a comeback. Those were, I think they disappeared off the map for a while, and now they're back and trendy again.
Shake Shack. I've heard that's amazing. I've also just heard it's really expensive.
It is, and you can find these in some of the, now that so many airports are like malls.
Yes.
A lot of them have Shake Shacks.
Yeah, the nearest one to Iowa is down in Kansas City. Zaxby's. I've not been to Zaxby. It's a southern place that just fries everything.
Yeah, similar to like a Raising Cane's, chicken tenders and fries.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure it's great. Dutch Brothers Coffee. We need another we need another coffee place, like we need another foot of rain, right?
With a drive. Oh, it has a drive-through. We're good.
Jack in the Box. Somebody grew up in the land of who grew up in the land of Jack in the Box. You don't want Jack in the Box. You don't. These are always like in the worst neighborhoods.
Trent Reichs and I went to Austin to cover an Iowa State-Texas football game a few years ago. And we were in kind of a hurry, and we stopped and ate at the Jack in the Box, and they were like, "What are we doing?" I mean, we're in Austin with all this great food. We're at a Jack in the Box.
But he calls it Jack in the Crack. It's terrible. White Castles. Again, just save these for when you go out of town. They're not that big a deal. Tim Hortons, which is basically just Dunkin' Donuts. Canada.
I don't know Tim Hortons.
Huge in Canada. The northern states have them as well. They're really good, but it's like Dunkin' Donuts. It's just like Dunkin' Donuts.
I wish I was just listening because now I'm hungry. Watching these photos go by.
Yeah, me too. Number 10 is Jimmy Buffet's Margaritaville.
Yeah.
That's another thing that's in airports all the time. You see these things.
They are. You get some good guac there, though. They'll come and make it at your table for a lot of money. But if you're at an airport,
they'll come and make it at your table for a lot of money.
Yeah, they will.
I love some guac. McDonald's, Andy, it's a U.S. franchise has agreed to price 8 popular combo meals at 15% less than the total cost of buying the items separately, with the chain offering financial support to franchisees if they agree to lower prices, according to inside sources. The lower prices will go into effect next month. 15%.
Also, was this not already happening? Was it not
already
cheaper to get it as a bundle than to buy them individually?
I would forego any of those other restaurants we just mentioned just to have the fast food restaurants that we've got return their prices to earth. They have gotten so outrageously expensive. It has got inflation, whatever, hit them so much harder, or they used it so much more than other restaurants. It's crazy how expensive fast food restaurants got. I never go anymore. I just quit. It's just like out of principle. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
A value meal at McDonald's is $9 now?
Yeah, two Happy Meals, you're pushing $20.
That's crazy.
Went to Taco John's the other night, the drive-thru, and got a beef burrito, a side of rice, and a small pop. It was like $9.50.
Yeah, at
what?
Taco John's, which was like the cheapest place.
Yeah,
right. I mean,
that was your late night stop.
Yeah, you could go get like
something.
like a sling of hard shell tacos for $5, and it just blew up. Delta Airlines and United Airlines were sued yesterday by passengers who claimed they had paid extra money to sit in window seats, and there were no windows. Placed in seats next to a blank wall, the complaints say some Boeing 737, 757, and Airbus A321 planes contain seats that would normally contain windows but lack them because of the placement of air conditioning ducts, electrical conduits, or other components. Passengers said Delta and United do not flag these seats during the booking process, even when changing or occasionally I'm sorry, even when charging tens or even hundreds of dollars more for them.
Yeah, that's ridiculous because some people buy these window seats because they're a little bit claustrophobic, and just being able to see out the window helps them. And sometimes you'll have the flight attendant or the pilot say, please lower your shades on your windows because it'll help keep the plane cooler.
Yeah.
But occasionally somebody will speak up and say they are not comfortable lowering the shade because they need to see outside. So if you were one of those people and you got a wall to your right, ugh.
Also, I call bullshit on those reasoning. The reason is because they've jammed too many rows of seats into these planes. There should be one row per window, but they've tried to jam so many damn seats in there and make it so much smaller that now you have, three rows for every two windows.
Yeah, you have put extra rows of seats that don't fit in the design of the
air
plane.
Conditioning duct on the side of the plane. It's because you're greedy.
An air conditioning duct goes there. Come on, man. We all know we know what the airplanes or the airlines are doing. And finally, let's take a look back at the glorious summer at what happened when Uncle Kevin was allowed to drive the boat on vacation.
That's all one guy? That's all Uncle Kevin?
No, it's all in the spirit of Uncle Kevin. Every family has got an uncle who drives the ski boat, the tubing boat too fast.
Ours is not an uncle, it's Charlie. That might not surprise
Where
you.
you're like, he is trying to punish the passengers.
Trying to send you. You just, because it is funny, as long as no one's hurt, it is funny to see somebody get launched.
It's got to be kids, though, on there, though. Like, if you launch a 50-year-old and you land like that,
You'll be limping around.
Oh, you're dead. Yeah, you will feel it for the next month. There's always one uncle that's just like, all right, you want a real ride?
Here we
Hop
go.
on board. Here we go. That's your more, everybody.
Grimaldi's fan photos, Murph_Andy at IowaEverywhere.com. Send your photos in. This is fan Scott Sipker back at Wrigley Field.
Yeah.
Rekindling his love of the Cubs and baseball. He's not eligible for the $50 gift card, which is why we show Scott's photo today. Friday, give a $50 gift card to Grimaldi's coal-fired brick oven pizza in West Des Moines or the district at Prairie Trail. Time now for our segment with Mr. Movie.
It's time to go to the movies with Mr. Movie, Mike Woody, presented by P&P Small Engines.
Mr. Movie not able to be with us today, but he is presented by P&P Small Engine. Keep your lawn in good shape with a blade sharpening at P&P. So our out-of-the-box topic this week, Andy, is we've been traveling around the country. We're going to go international this week, but not to Dublin. We're going to London. And I am picking what would affectionately be called a chick flick by many people, but I love Notting Hill. This is a movie I've seen many times. Julia Roberts is a Hollywood star. Hugh Grant is just a bookstore owner that does very few business, but he has a hilarious roommate. What was his name in the movie? A.D. Spike?
Spike.
Oh, yeah, Spike. Yeah, his
Spike,
roommate. Yeah,
Spike.
The masturbating Welshman.
Yeah, there's just a lot of humor in this. At the end, there's to Steve Winwood's "Give Me All Your Love," and there's a great scene where they try to get the two together. It's got a lot of laughs, a lot of love. It comes together nicely, and it shows you the power of movie stars too, because the two stars in this are great.
There's a bunch of Richard Curtis movies you could do here. This, Four Weddings and a Funeral, Love Actually. I mean, there's a lot of really good, as you said, chick flicks.
Yesterday is a good one. Yeah, about
This
time.
is my favorite. Notting Hill's my favorite, but there are some good ones. And just to show how difficult it is to do this, I watched like a version of this done about soccer that was on Netflix or Prime with different stars, same premise. You know, the superstar soccer player in this case, it was just a tourist from the United States, and they fall in love. All the same. It's basically the same plot, and it's not good at all. It's bad. So it's tough to have a movie come together and be great. Notting Hill is great. Andy, what do you have?
I'm going to go with a movie that I don't know that we've ever talked about this, but it doesn't get enough respect. I didn't respect it when it first came out. It wasn't until I watched it later on, as I was a little bit older, that I really started to appreciate how damn funny this movie is. But it's A Fish Called Wanda, and Kevin Kline is so good in this movie. Not only did he win an Academy Award, but you have two of the stars from Monty Python, John Cleese and Michael Palin. He comes in and upstages them both. Yeah, I mean, he's that good. It's just a really funny, stupid, quirky, action movie set amongst uptight Brits. And Kevin Kline is one of the funniest bad guys in movie history.
When he's mocking the stuttering?
Yeah, which is really sad, but I mean, they make it funny. It's so
they do.
It's the insults and the apologies. Oh my God. It's such a funny movie. He's so far over the top, but he's just great in it. Jamie Lee Curtis, also, it's an overlooked movie, and it shouldn't be. It's a really, really good one.
AD, you going Big Ben Parliament? What are you going with?
About it, yeah, there were a bunch of options here, but I'm going to go with one that, again, like Andy, I don't think we've ever talked about. It's been a long time since I've seen it, but I watched it a lot, especially in college. It's called Snatch, 2000. It's a Guy Ritchie movie, stars Brad Pitt, Benicio del Toro, and a really good performance from Jason Statham, like before he became the cliche action guy doing like the same movie over and over again. This kind of shows you, hey, he's a good actor, and you kind of carry a movie like this. Fast cuts, a lot of action. It's, like the Guy Ritchie stuff, but also you need subtitles at times, especially in the Brad Pitt parts, to kind of understand what they're actually saying. But man, it's a lot of fun. It's been a while since I've seen this, but if you haven't, you should check it out.
Really,
I think this is the first movie that is in English that I turn the subtitles on. As I get older, I do that more because I can struggle with the accents sometimes. But I remember doing that because I was like, what?
Yeah.
I couldn't understand it. I couldn't follow it.
And it's a quotable movie too. Anytime you're parallel parking and it's just clear the person isn't good at parallel parking. I can't fit in there. It's too tight. You're like, you can fit the car in there. There's plenty of room. You just don't want to parallel park. It's not even a Scottish movie or an Irish movie where it's sometimes hard to hear their accents.
Yeah.
It's British, but it's just like the dirty underbelly of London. So
gypsies.
Yeah. Right. Brad Pitt's a gypsy.
Andy, you know what movie I almost picked? It goes all the way back to my high school years, but An American Werewolf in London, the original. I mean, that was so well done. And at the time, I think the makeup artist's name is Rick Baker. He would go on to do like the makeup for Michael Jackson's Thriller and other things like that. But that movie was funny and haunting, scary at times.
A naked American man just stole my balloons.
Yeah, you've seen it. Weekend box office, Weapons continues to do well with $25 million. Still haven't seen it. Still don't know what it's about. But both Jake Brend and my son Cade, two guys who love movies, say it's the best movie they've seen this year.
Yeah, and I don't typically like horror movies, and I think it's in that
Now,
genre.
so you just told me it was a horror movie. I didn't know it was a horror movie.
I don't know, but I'm trying not to hear much about it because, people are just raving about this movie.
Just the picture doesn't give you really any hints about it. Yeah, Mike had good things to say about it.
Freakier Friday made another $15 million, and Nobody 2 comes in with $9 million. If you're in the comments and you've seen Nobody 2, please let me know what you thought. I've seen Nobody a couple of times. Loved it. It's a tight 90 minutes. Thought it was like Bob Odenkirk. Thought the premise was good. Sequels sometimes struggle to find a new direction to take it in. So if you saw it, let us know. We'll save some of the reviews for Mr. Movie coming up hopefully next week. But right now, it is time for ThrowDowns.
Yeah, it is.
ThrowDowns. It's ThrowDowns. Backed by Heartland Tire and Auto.
Heartland Tire and Auto brings us throwdowns each and every day. Ankeny, Waukee, Knoxville, Boone, and Creston, an authorized dealer of both Firestone and Bridgestone tires. Murph, our buddy Trent Condon posted this on Twitter this week. Which team would be hurt more if they lost their quarterback for a few games this season, Iowa or Iowa State?
Iowa State. Rocco Becht has been the starter for a couple of years, so they're running everything through him, especially with the loss of two NFL receivers. So the step down, whatever it is, from Rocco Becht, you have to change a lot of what you've done. You have to simplify everything. Over at Iowa, Mark Gronowski is still learning the system. Things are still simplified to some degree, and you have a guy behind him who started at Auburn. I think you feel like you're not drastically changing that much. You lose Rocco Becht. I know they have Connor Moberly behind him, and there's depth there, but that feels like your season just disappeared.
Yeah, I mean, this is Iowa State probably right out of the gate just because of a technicality. I mean, you know exactly what Iowa State looks like with Rocco Becht at quarterback. We have no idea what Iowa looks like with Mark Gronowski at quarterback. You have no idea.
We think he's going to be really good, but we don't know.
But you don't know what he's going to look like, and you don't know what he looks like, and certainly don't know what his backup looks like.
Andy, despite trading for Kenny Pickett and drafting both Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders this offseason, the Browns will start 40-year-old Joe Flacco at quarterback. Do you agree with this decision?
Well, geez, agreeing with the Browns' decisions it seems like a fool's errand. But Joe Flacco can still play. There's a lot to a veteran, established, winning quarterback in the NFL. I mean, those guys can take you places. I mean, there are a bunch of teams who've made Super Bowls in the past who've played veteran quarterbacks who seemed like they were past their prime, but they just had a good team around him, and he was good enough, and he took them there. So I don't think this is a bad idea. You got a bunch of wild cards really still, even with Kenny Pickett. You got a bunch of wild cards beneath him.
Yeah, I think it's a hedge at this point, and probably the smart hedge, because as we were mentioning earlier, the Anthony Richardsons, even the Caleb Williams, Mitch Trubisky, Kenny Pickett. It's really difficult to come in and play in a real game, not a preseason game like Shedeur Sanders looked really sharp, but he's not seeing the full arsenal of disguised defenses and all that he will see in a regular season game. I think this is smart. They're going with the safe choice to see if they can win some games and get in the race with Flacco. If they don't, if they're not in the race or if they're losing games, they're going to make a change. Yeah. I think this is a move you make just to see how long you can still contend. Once they're not contending, he'll be out of there.
Yeah, it feels to me like you just go with one of the young guys and see what you have. But,
it's easier to change, though, to one of the young guys, right? I mean, if you change away from a young guy, then you're basically giving up on him. If you change away from Joe Flacco, I mean, he was only there as a placeholder.
Yeah. All right, Murph, when you're watching shows on streaming.
The Buzz. Brought to you by.
Oh, sorry about that.
I thought you were making the point.
I thought that was part of the gig.
Yeah, right.
You should have just go with it. I meant to always act like you meant to do it.
Murph, when you're watching shows on streaming, you get the skip intro option. Do you press it?
I do after I've seen the intro once. Okay. I always want to watch the intro once. Now, there might be an exception here or there where something is so well done, like Hard Knocks. I actually watch that all the time because of the music and the slow-mo and the voiceover. I'll continue to watch that. Game of Thrones, I think I watched far more than once, but usually skip.
Yeah, Game of Thrones had like hints in the intro about where the story was going to be in that episode. So I would always watch that, but otherwise I always skip the intro.
Even if it's like if you're watching The Office and it's like a 15-second intro,
totally.
you just
skip it. Yeah,
I never skip intro.
I mean, if I've got the remote in my hand, sometimes I don't have it. I'm not going to go.
You never skip intro.
I mean, like, no, I don't think so. Like, even I rewatch The West Wing every once in a while. It's like my favorite show ever. I've heard that intro 1,000 times, and I don't know. There's something about it. I feel like it's disrespectful to skip intro. I feel like they're gonna know.
You're not respecting the art.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Somebody worked hard on that intro. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
All right, thank you, AD. It's time for more AD. It's the Andrew Downs audio drop of the day.
Yeah, it's powered by Game Day Men's Health. I go to Ankeny. Andy goes to West Des Moines. You can go to either of those, also North Liberty or wherever you are. We had an Iowa Everywhere listener in Anchorage, Alaska, walk into the game day there, say he heard about it on these shows, and we appreciate that. So Game Day Men's Health can get you back in the game no matter how old you are or what your issues are. Matt Leinart, speaking of old, he's not that old, but he probably feels old today. His kids learned how to use Alexa, and it didn't go well for the former Heisman winner.
Alexa, who's Matt Leinart?
From EatSports.com. Matt Leinart was a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback at USC and a top 10 NFL draft pick, but his pro career didn't amount to much.
Really?
Yikes. Oh well.
Wow, Alexa's rough. Damn.
Damn, Alexa.
She speaks the truth.
Yeah. Didn't amount to much.
Says it in that woman's voice, though. She sounds nice about it.
Yeah, she seems pleasant.
It's hard
Quickie
to be
poll
mad.
results presented by WCI Pools and Spas.
Of these choices, what comes to mind when you think Ireland?
Yeah.
Green hills and cliffs, Irish pubs, Guinness, heritage, history, or poets, writers?
1%.
Yeah, 1%.
It speaks about our audience.
And Ireland.
60% will go with Irish pubs and Guinness. 32% the green hills and cliffs. A whopping 7% say it's that heritage and history, which I guess is really kind of a history and heritage of people leaving there, right?
Yeah, there's
At least
some
from the American
conflict
perspective.
Maybe conflict with Northern Ireland, but immigration is.
There's a lot of conflict with Ireland. Yeah.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
Yeah. That's drink up, everybody. That's the reason you went to Ireland.
Final full weekend before high school football starts. Andy, I think you're running down to St. Louis. You'll join us from there Friday.
Join you from Friday, or from there on Friday.
Jenny and I are going to watch the Iowa State-Kansas State game from Circa in Las Vegas. Looking forward to that. World's biggest sports book screen. That should be fun. So I will join you from there. Andrew, where will you be joining us from Friday?
Right here in my basement in Urbandale.
All right. Well, thank you, AKC
Sitker going
Marketing.
with you to Circa? Is he going to be there too on Friday?
I think he is. I think he might already be out there. I don't know. He's. I'm not sure where he is.
We need to
we
put
never
like
know what he's doing.
We got to put like an Apple AirTag on him.
I know.
Track him.
I know you don't know where he'll be, but he turns up. Hey, thanks for being part of Murph and Andy here on a Wednesday on Iowa Everywhere. If you get a chance, please like and subscribe. We're back Friday as we get ready for a college football game the next day. We hope you'll join us then.
Murph and Andy was brought to you by Ramsey Subaru on Hickman Road in Urbandale.